Jai Shri Ram, this is a GRE issue prompt. Issue means an essay topic. So, there are many such topics on culture. On the theme of culture, there are many such essay topics. To truly understand your own culture, no matter how you define it, requires personal knowledge of at least one other culture, one that is distinctly different from your own. So, don't you agree? We can know white only when we know what is black. We can understand joy only when we have suffered some misery, some sadness, some sorrow. So we can understand what is good only when we know what is actually bad. That's dialectical. Dialectical materialism. Well, that's the word that Karl Marx used. But anyway, dialectics is a method of trying to understand a topic by looking at the opposites and then synthesizing. So you analyze and then synthesize. That means there is a thesis. For example, somebody says A is good for health. Then somebody comes up and says A is bad for health. So you listen to both of them. The person who said A is good for health will give you his reasons. Listen to him. And then the other who said A is bad will give his own reasons. Now you put both these together and arrive at a synthesis. Synthesis means building up. The opposite of synthesis is analysis. The word analysis means to break down. Synthesis means to build up. So you take the points from the first speaker who supported A, and the second speaker who supported opposed A. Then putting both of them together, we will have a better understanding of A. This whole process is called dialectics. In the Bhagavad Gita, Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yogaha, 16th chapter, Krishna describes what are Daivi qualities, that means divine angelic traits, character traits, and what are Asuric, demonic, evil qualities. So when you look at both, you have a better understanding of both. So in our parliament also what we have is a dialectical method. The ruling party puts forward a proposition, a bill, and the opposing party, the opposition will oppose it. But unfortunately, most of the time they are opposing it because they are the opposition party. Instead of making any serious contribution to the debate, they are only vitiating the whole atmosphere. Right? So, anyway, Vada Jalpa, what do you call? Vada, Krishna declares in the Bhagavad Gita. Vada is in Sanskrit a concept where two people come to the discussion table with the honest intention of knowing the truth. That means both will equally contribute. Even if their opinions differ, they will not fight. They will try to synthesize and understand the topic better. Vitanda. Vitanda is when each one is already convinced of the rightness or correctness of their own position, and then they will try to convince the other fellow. In this Vitanda Vadam, each will do whatever it takes to convince the other fellow, sometimes threatening or false logic or all kinds of nonsense. This is what happens in the case of all religions except Hinduism. In Hinduism, we are always open to learning because we don't claim that we have the absolute knowledge or ours is the only. Whereas in other religions, I don't want to name them, you know who I am referring to. They believe that theirs is the only path, the others have to either be converted or killed. So, seriously, no debate is possible. They are only indulging in Vitandavada. Jalpa is the third mode. These are Sanskrit concepts you will benefit by learning, by the way. You may not write about them in the GRE essay, but a general person who is listening to my topics, even if you are not a GRE student, if you want to someday rise to the stature of a Vivekananda, then you must listen to my talks. Okay. Jalpa is another concept. Jalpa means devil's advocate. That means, that's also useful. In some situations, devil's advocate is useful. To play the devil's advocate. Jalpa means, I don't have any conviction. The word conviction means firm belief. I don't have any conviction, but I am so capable, so smart, or so good at critical reasoning, critical thinking. I am a sophist. Sophism. Sophists were masters of rhetoric. Sophistry means using false logic to convince anybody. Casuistry is the synonym. Casuistry. Sophistry, casuistry. Sophistical argument. A sophist is a person who is so good at talking and a master of rhetoric that he can convince anybody about anything. Right? So, sophists in ancient Greece were people who got a bad name because of this silly philosophy. They used to say that we must teach our students whatever they want to learn, because if we try to force them to learn something which they don't want to learn, then they will not learn. Now, on the surface, this looks like a very good idea, but just imagine how ridiculous it is. If you allow this freedom to the students, they will ask you to teach about nonsense and all kinds of crap. Do you think that's what schools are for? No. Some amount of freedom is understandable. So, sophistry, casuistry are negative words. Specious reasoning. Specious. Specious means false but convincing. So, now Jalpa. So, sometimes we have to play the devil's advocate. Why? To explore the soundness of the other fellow's argument. So, some time back, there was a great Vedic scholar who was a little dogmatic. So I told him, listen, mister, I have not read the Vedas, or I have read just a little. I am not a scholar of Vedic Sanskrit, but I can tell you this much. You tell me what you have understood, I will tell you whether that is correct or not. Because I am capable of playing the devil's advocate. So, similarly, when you have people of other religions claiming that you have not read their holy books, so you don't know and you cannot talk, tell them, listen, buddy, you have read everything now. So let me know what you have read and what is there in your holy book. I will tell you whether it makes sense in the first place. So, play the devil's advocate. So, Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says that he inspires Vada. Now, the word Vada in Telugu or Hindi, Vad Vivad Karna, is argumentating. But Vada in Sanskrit means an approach to a topic with the honest intention of knowing the truth. So, that is the best. That's what Krishna says. So, Krishna says that he inspires the initiative to indulge in Vada and not in Jalpa and Vitanda. However, those things are also useful depending on the situation. Okay. Now, let us get back to our topic. So, yes, I fully agree with this. Yes, to understand one culture, to understand apples, you have to look at oranges. Well, why not? You can see that they are different. Don't compare oranges with apples, that's what they say. But then if you compare, you will get to know how they are actually different. Okay, so now this is acceptable, no doubt, but there are many other dimensions of culture which have to be examined in order for us to know our culture. Right? So, in our introduction, we will write whatever I said, I'll leave it to you now. Summarize that. We will say, yes, the speaker's statement does have some merit, but then there are many elements, many components of culture which need to be examined for us to have a comprehensive understanding of any culture. For example, if you take the American culture, the American dream, that's the most important mentee fact. Now I am getting into some details. So if you don't understand what is the meaning of the American dream, then you cannot claim that you understand the American culture. Now, what is this American dream? Okay, now I'll turn the page. Just a minute, please. So now we are looking at this, what I've drawn, what I've written, my calligraphy. Mentee facts, sociofacts, artifacts, semiotics. Please take a screenshot so that it becomes easier for me to explain each one of them. Now these are words which you can memorize, which you can use when you're talking about culture. So these are actually words which are two words, portmanteau words, Portmanteau. Portmanteau means a word that is created, coined by fusing several words. Mentee facts is mental facts. Now the most important mentee fact of America is the American dream. So if you don't know what is an American dream, then you can't really say that you've understood America. The American dream can be explained in one sentence, probably a short one. Establishing a meritocracy. The founding fathers of America were great philosophers and they were deists. D-E-I-S-T. Deism. A deist means one who believes in God, but does not believe in any holy book or dogma, who uses his brain, his intelligence, critical thinking to understand what God could be. So that is the best religion, and Sanatan Dharma fully qualifies to be called a form of deism. Though in Sanatan Dharma we have so many rituals because people occupy different rungs of the spiritual ladder. Some people are in the LKG, psychologically or religiously, spiritually. So they indulge in some kind of rituals. We have no problem. As long as they don't harm others, it's all right. So Sanatan Dharma understands that all people cannot become Einsteins. So all people cannot understand high philosophy, even if they are old. So Menti facts. So the American dream, one word, meritocracy. Unfortunately, in our country, after 70 years of independence also, we have not been able to establish any meritocracy. We have, yes, successfully established a kakistocracy. Please make a note. K-A-K-I-S-T-O, kakisto, C-R-A-C-Y. Kakistocracy means the exact opposite of meritocracy, which means rule by the worst kind of people. Kakistocracy. And another term, you please make a note. Kleptocracy. Kleptocracy. Kleptomania means the irresistible desire to steal something. Usually found in rich people, shoplifting and all that. Poor people, if they are extremely poor, they may steal because they need the money. But kleptocracy is a tendency found in rich people. Anyway, kleptomania. Kleptocracy means rule by thieves. Many Indian politicians, I don't want to name them, they have money stashed in the Swiss bank. Many scoundrels are occupying positions of power who have looted this country, and we are respecting them. So I don't want to name them, I leave it to your imagination. So if you have now understood the most important Menti fact of America, the American dream, which means establishing a meritocracy, which means there will be no discrimination, and people who are talented and willing to work hard will have every opportunity to become prosperous. That is why America is such a great nation, my dear friends. I consider myself an unabashed admirer of America. Unabashed means shameless. Abashed means shameful. Of course, America has its own defects. That's a different discussion. So, the most important Menti facts of India. You'll have to look at the constitution and our Hindu belief systems, because basically India is a Hindu Rashtra, and all the Muslims and Christians in India, their forefathers were actually Hindus. Very small, negligible percent of Christians and Muslims are descendants of outsiders. The DNA of all Muslims, Christians, Hindus is the same. This has been established by CCMB. So now, Menti facts of India. That means the most important Menti fact of India would be the karma theory. We strongly believe that you cannot escape the repercussions of your actions. Even when gods are born on earth, they will have to face the music. If they violate a law, see, for example, Rama killed Wali from behind the tree. Lot of justification is given. Rama himself gives it. After all, Wali was a scoundrel. He abducted his brother's wife, and he was a tyrant. So Rama gave him some explanation. Do you want me to learn dharma from you now, you scoundrel? So of course he did not use that word. So scoundrel simply means a rascal. A rascal means a person who does not have any values. So it's not a dirty word. So, and Wali was a beast, and Rama was a king, and he had a right to hunt, and all those logic is given. But nevertheless, because Rama shot Wali from behind a tree, when he came back as Krishna, he was killed by a hunter whose name was Jara, and in Sanskrit, Jara means old age. So remember, Hinduism is deeply symbolical. Many idiots who don't understand Hinduism misinterpret Hinduism because they don't understand the symbolism. So, so Krishna was shot dead, though Krishna's body is not a physical body. So Krishna was killed by a hunter from behind a tree. So the equation is balanced. So like this, to understand any culture, what are their philosophies? What are their convictions? What are their belief systems? If you study that, then you can claim that you have understood one important component. Socio-facts, the next element of culture. Socio-facts will refer to the architecture of the cities, the political system, the academic system, the university system, the legal system, presidential system there, prime ministerial here, our courts, all these things, including the architecture. So these are all facts about society, family, what do you call, nuclear family, joint family, all facts about society. What kind of marriages? Open marriages. Have you heard of them? Find out. So many males, so many females get together, and nobody knows who's father. Anyway, I leave it to you. So artifacts. Now the word artifact means an object of art created by man. So here we are talking about dance, drama, music, painting, sculpture, and even movies. So you have to examine all that to understand what are the ideas behind these artifacts. Then you can understand that culture better. Semiotics. Semiotics means symbols. What are the emblems? What are the national animals? And what do these national animals represent? What are the national mottos also? Well, that will come under Mentifacts. So what are the national mottos of America? America has got two. On every greenback means a dollar. Green means a dollar. Specie means coin. So on every greenback you will find on the obverse, OBVERSE. Obverse means the heads. You will find in God we trust. In God we trust. That is the de jure motto of America. De jure means official. On the reverse, you will find the de facto motto of America. De facto means actual. The de facto motto of America, the de facto mentifact of America will be found on every dollar and every coin. On the back side you will find E pluribus unum. E capital, pluribus, Pluribus, unum, UNUM. They define this as one among many because they want to emphasize individuality. One among many. We are all Americans, but we are one and we are individualistic. We don't have to copy others or become like others, and nobody can force us to become like them. So they consider themselves, well, the best description is a salad bowl concept of culture. So on a salad bowl, the tomato, onion, radish, cucumber, lemon, all of them maintain their individuality. They don't fuse. So that's a salad bowl concept. Whereas India is a crucible. Crucibla. Crucible is a vessel in a forge where metals are made into alloys, 2000 degrees centigrade and chemicals and all kinds. But the crucible does not react and new alloys are formed. So in India is such that it will transform everybody. So Indian culture, Hindu culture is a crucible. Ano bhadra kratavo yanta vishwadaha. The Veda says let noble ideas come from everywhere. And so we are willing to accept any noble idea. But if your idea is ridiculous and nonsensical, I will be the first person to destroy it. Because Hinduism teaches me to use critical thinking. We don't accept absurd dogmas. So be careful of a Hindu. So next, semiotics are the. So in India we have Satyameva Jayate. So semiotics are the symbols. What are the colors of the national flag? What is the meaning? What is the symbolism? What is the profound meaning behind the colors? What are the emblems? What are the state mottos? What are the national animals? What are the symbols? You must delve into that. So semiotics is the study of symbols. So if you know all this, then you will get an insight. I think you can write a good essay now. Polychronic and monochronic. I'll quickly describe that. Polychronic cultures, that means at one time people are doing many things. America is a monochronic culture, Germans, Europeans mostly. So whereas Eastern cultures, India, China, Japan, we are polychronic. That means we do multitasking. Then why do we do that? Well, because we believe people are more important than the task. Okay, pleasing everybody is important, taking care of everyone. So there is a big cultural difference. Monochronic. Well, they have that has its own virtues. So I don't want to get into a debate on that. So universal, spiritual versus materialistic. Hinduism is purely universal and spiritualistic. Abrahamic cults, I call them cult, C-U-L-T. The word cult means there is a charismatic leader and initiation rules and rites are there. And so this is a cult. Usually cults are secret, but these are no longer secret now. So they are materialistic. They are extremely materialistic. Materialism means seeking money, material comfort. There is no spirituality in the Abrahamic religions, though some would like to argue that there is. The word spirituality means search for the self-knowledge, quest for self-knowledge. So there's nothing like that. There are lots of dogmas there. You just have to accept them, convert, and if you don't, apostasy is punished with death. So questioning is not allowed. So whereas Hinduism is deeply spiritual and universal. So you don't have to write all this, but if you are a general listener, please. Individualistic and collectivistic. Hindu culture is collectivistic, American culture is individualistic. Okay. Uncertainty avoidance index. Though this is another important trait. So high uncertainty avoidance. So they want to make everything certain. So Abrahamic cults are like that. There are lots of rules and dogmas you have to follow without any question. Okay. Of course, there are more than 40,000 denominations in Christianity. 40,000 sects, SECT. Denomination means a religious subgroup. In Islam, there are 72. Each of them believes the other fellow is a pagan or an infidel. So anyway, I don't want to get into that discussion. Whereas Hinduism, the uncertainty avoidance index is very low. That means we allow uncertainty. We know uncertainty exists. And that is why we are relaxed. Because we believe in the karma theory. Because we believe that if people are enjoying life and people are suffering, well, they must have done something in their past life. But that doesn't mean that we become callous and indifferent. We will try to help. Open and closed cultures. These two words, perestroika means restructuring, glasnost means transparency, openness. These are Russian words. So open cultures, closed cultures, I leave it to you. Long-term orientation, short-term orientation. And then indulgence versus restraint. In some cultures, they allow everyone to do whatever they want. Live in relationships, and God knows what kind of crap is going on. So we are also getting hyper-Americanized, we Hindus. I think that's dangerous. We must learn something good from them, not crap for them. High context versus low context. High context culture, Hindu culture is a high context culture. Japanese, Eastern cultures, where tone, non-verbal clues, implied meaning, subtlety, collective understanding, collective good, that is more important. So, in which my words are actually not important. The way I deliver the words are more important. Whereas low context cultures like America, Germany, Italy, all these are where rules are followed. Verbal is more important than non-verbal. They are highly individualistic. Masculine cultures are mercenary, seeking money, material comfort, heroism, achievement, assertiveness. Whereas feminine cultures are caring, cooperating, modesty. So Hindu culture is more of a feminine culture, and the Abrahamic cults are more masculine. In fact, purely masculine, because they are predatory. They believe in converting, proselytization, or killing. That is there in their holy book, so I have no fear in saying that. So masculine cultures and feminine cultures. Of course, America, thanks to the founding fathers who were deists, they never believed in any religion. They believed in God, but then they were open to questioning everything. That's why America is a great nation. I hope this discussion will be very useful, and you will be able to write a good essay. Jai Shri Ram.